celebrity story.
Afternoon, bula and aloha, whatever language you speak and wherever you're at in the world. Scratch that, wherever you're at in the universe, humans and aliens alike. Welcome to another episode of the Afternoon Shift. My name is Max Fuller, a.k.a., let's see here, Maxie Mantle, a.k.a. Alex Frovechkin, a.k.a. a million other things. And if you see me here, chances are 9.999999 ad infinitum times out of 10. That means that the glamorous and ever graceful Grace Henry is in the building.
Hi.
What's good, Grace?
Hey, not much. I mean, we've had a pretty busy day full of press conferences today.
I know. We got a little bit of a different show. I heard some rumors in the hallway, some whispers through the grapevine that the show's a little bit different today. Do you want to let the good people back at home, our lovely and vivacious viewers, you want to let them know how the show's a little bit different today?
Yeah, absolutely. We're waiting on right now a press conference outside of HCMC on ICE presence in the hospital. So we'll hear from community leaders. We'll hear from healthcare workers. Yeah, we don't have any exact names, so we'll just kind of have to see who comes to the podium and who speaks. But after that press conference wraps up, we're going to take a little bit of a turn, and we're going to talk to a music buyer from Electric Fetus about what were the top-selling records and albums of 2025 and what he predicts for 2026. I'm also curious to know what the difference between a record and an album is. I'm going to ask that question.
Yeah, I think we all just kind of use it interchangeably, but like, is it that way? Are they synonymous? Is there a difference? I'm curious to ask him too as well.
Yeah.
Grace, ever since we talked about it the other day, he was somebody that would know. How are record sales doing of Purple Rain? Because it's finding a whole new audience out there. I read a really great article in the Star Tribune all about how the show got hold of the song and how it's like it's increased like a crazy amount of percentage on streaming services, right?
Yeah, it definitely has. I mean, within Minnesota, we had the Purple Rain musical, but there were two Prince songs used in Stranger Things, the finale. And that's just, I mean, we were talking about it yesterday, completely boosted the streams of Purple Rain specifically. So I'll be interested to see, like, if he predicts that Prince is still going to be on the up and up within Electric Fetus. But yeah, so I'm really excited for that conversation. I think it'll be really interesting. There was quite the mix of genres represented on the best-selling records and albums. And then we also will be hearing from some House Democrats. Again, taking another turn. We're going to be really shifting today, but it is the 5th anniversary today of the January 6th riots. So we're going to hear from some House Democrats reflecting on that moment in history. And then we are going to be talking to our top homie, Lauren Andrego, of course, about clubs and organizations to join in 2026. I'm sure she has some super cool and niche, like, local clubs. I heard that maybe she'll be talking to us about broomball. Do you know what broomball is?
I know. I've never really ventured into the world of broomball. I'm a fan of most sports, but I've never ventured into the ever exciting world of broomball. Lauren knows a little bit about everything. I didn't think that broomball We got everything covered, Grace. We got the
Yeah.
serious news, and we got broomball and everything in between today.
Well, I'd heard of Quidditch. You know what Quidditch is from the
Yeah.
Harry Potter movies. I thought that maybe that's what she was talking about
Oh.
because they had to like change the name. I don't know exactly what it's called, but I did a story when I was at the U on I forgot what it actually is called, but on basically the U's Quidditch team. So I thought maybe they were interchangeable. I don't think that's the case. So I'm excited to hear a little bit more from Lauren. But like I said, we're
Quad
waiting-
ball.
Oh, quad ball.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Quad
Yeah,
ball.
that's right.
Real life Quidditch. Okay,
Real
we're
life
going to have to have a
Quidditch.
whole segment about that, Grace. I'm going to have to pick your brain about that
I
sometime.
had a couple classmates who were on the team, so maybe I can reach back out to them. I think they're often, doing their journalism careers in different parts of the country, but maybe they're on, I don't know, the Oregon quad ball team. But like I said, we are waiting on this. I'll give you guys a little look. We're waiting on this press conference outside of HCMC on ICE presence within the hospital. Yeah, it's ramping up. It looks like it's going to start pretty soon. But yeah, so we have one eye on that, and yeah.
Yeah, we're just waiting. Like Grace said, we're set to head out to Hennepin County Medical Center. They're holding a press conference. But local community leaders are addressing ICE's presence at HCMC recently, and they are going to call for hospitals and other institutions to adopt some protocols to protect patients' rights and safety as ICE presence increases in Minnesota. We're just eagerly anticipating that. There's lots of different speakers set to listen, and I believe we'll be taking that press conference in full or as close to full as we can, Grace. We're going to be taking the whole thing, right?
Yeah, we will. We'll see. We're expecting it to go around 30 minutes long, but again, you never know at these press conferences, and we don't have a list of exactly who will be speaking. We know we will be hearing from community leaders and healthcare workers. You can see kind of behind the microphone stands over there that there are some people in scrubs, so we can expect to hear from them.
Looks like they're calling some
yeah,
people
looks
up
like
right now.
they're getting ready, so let's take a listen.
Let's go to it.
Good afternoon. My name is Luis Sargueta. I'm the communications director at Unidos, Minnesota. And we are here meeting with a number of healthcare frontline workers as well as people that work here directly at HCMC. We're going to be talking about an incident that occurred on towards the end of the year, around the holidays. And to start us off and talk about what happened, we're going to have Representative Noor, who was on the scene outside that day.
Good afternoon. My name is Mahmoud Noor. I represent District 60B. So on that day, an individual who had medical conditions was taken from the community and then brought directly into the emergency room because of the condition that he was in. When someone of that status is grabbed by ICE, and that leads to a very serious situation. The ICE agents, 6 of them were involved in that process. They came inside the ED, they handcuffed the individual to the bed, that he was getting access to care, and that meant that he was distressed even further. So that created more harm than necessary. That created tension within the emergency room and within the hospital area. That created tension for the patients who were getting care in the hospital, for everyone who was within that area. Thereafter, that individual was admitted in the hospital. He was unhandcuffed, and we had some elected officials from Hennepin County who got involved in the process, brought their legal team and everyone else, the administrators, to make sure that those individuals who were rotating 2 agents every 4 hours to make sure that that individual is detained. Given that this is an individual with a high medical risk, that individual, if he was detained, he could have lost his life. So what we're talking about is respecting the rights of the individuals who are critical ill, those who are seeking services in this hospital, when they need those services, regardless of who you are. If you need care, you should not be deterred because of ICE. This is a critical issue. It's about life and death. And this situation will have been really tragic if that individual didn't get the care that they needed in this hospital. So thank you.
Next up, we will have a representative from the Minnesota Nurses Association. She is a healthcare worker, Lex, and I'll have her introduce herself.
Good afternoon. My name is Lex Martin. I'm a registered nurse here at HCMC and a member of the Minnesota Nurses Association. Many of my colleagues and I condemn the lack of regard for patient safety and staff transparency in this situation. In light of these recent events in our hospital, we're asking Hennepin Healthcare to take immediate action to update and enforce our institution's policies regarding interactions with immigration enforcement. First and foremost, immigration officers should not be permitted under any circumstances in private clinical areas without a signed judicial warrant. Absent a complete and correct warrant, immigration officers should be accompanied immediately out of the facility by HHS security. Any action less than this violates patient safety laws, including HIPAA. Should immigration officers present such a warrant, the security department must diligently verify the identity of officers entering HCMC. With the exception of medical masks, we ask that HCMC enforce a policy of barring face coverings for law enforcement. Security must also carefully document these encounters, including officers' names, their badge numbers, the agencies they represent, the location on HHS property, and the times in and out of the facility. This documentation is consistent with our current written policy regarding interactions with law enforcement. That said, these interactions are not the same as others. In circumstances of detention by ICE, these persons are under administrative custody and not criminal. At present, our hospital policies do not differentiate these very different scenarios. They must be separated. It is cruel and it is unjust to apply policies and measures designed for those held on criminal charges to those who are not. As nurses at Hennepin Healthcare, our primary mission is to provide safe and excellent care to all patients and families, irrespective of their immigration status, their language, or their country of origin. When faced with situations that impede our ability to deliver care, we rely on the institution to provide clear directives as to how to respond. We implore HCMC to step up and implement policies that protect the safety and privacy for all our patients, families, and staff members. Thank you.
So all this information will be emailed afterwards with the same media list. We do have, in addition to the list, we have a representative from the American Pediatrics Association who will be introducing herself as well as Jana.
Hi there, my name is Dr. Jana Gewurz-O'Brien. I am the president-elect of the Minnesota chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics. We are here for the kids. Over the last several weeks, I have been working with babies who are newborn up until age 18 to 21, and I will tell you that there is a crisis among our Latina and Somali families. They are afraid to come into the hospital. We are seeing a rash of appendicitis that should have been treated earlier, but people have been delaying care because of fear that ICE is going to show up at the hospital. Families are, I'm going to say that again, families are afraid to come in to get life-saving necessary treatment.
That's right.
Because there is a sense of fear that has been perpetuated by our administration, and that we need hospitals to step up. We need institutions to step up. We need our city and we need our state to protect hospitals and healthcare setting and keep them safe spaces for healing, not places of fear. Being in a hospital is already traumatic enough. Having fear and a sense that they are unsafe or that their family members will be detained is completely unacceptable. We're here for the kids, we're here for everybody of all ages, and we're here for life at Hennepin. Let's stand by what we believe in.
Can you spell your name really quick?
Yes, it is Jana, Janna, last name Gewurz-O'Brien, Gewirtzobrien. Thank you. Woo!
Next up, we have an elected champion who is continually working on immigration and a good number of issues here in the state of Minnesota, Representative Leash Kozlowski.
Woo!
Hey everybody, Leash Kozlowski. I use they, them pronouns. I represent the beautiful district of 8B, Duluth in Greater Minnesota, and I'm also here as a co-chair of the Minnesota Posse Caucus as well. And I'm here, and you might wonder why Duluthian is here, is because this is not isolated to the Twin Cities, to HCMC. We know from Duluth and Superior to Brainerd to Worthington to right here that our communities are under siege. And what is happening in a moment of intensified federal immigration enforcement across Minnesota, as we have seen an influx of hundreds of officers being deployed, and that scale matters, and that scale is increasingly adding fear and brutalizing our communities, and as we heard, preventing these places from being healing spaces that are vitally needed for our communities. Communities of color, immigrants, and refugees across the state need these places to remain safe spaces of healing. And we know that our collective resistance to ICE, to this immigration, the violent attacks on our communities must go beyond community-led responses. And I am so grateful to be here with healthcare workers who are organizing, union leaders. We've been working with elected officials across all levels, and we need us to step up and step in to make policy solutions that go well beyond just grassroots community solutions, and reinforce what the community is doing. So today we're here calling on HCMC as well as Minnesota Hospital and healthcare providers to make the same brave choices that have been made in places like California and Illinois when ICE came showing up in their hospitals. They chose to protect patients as well as to protect their healthcare workers. So why this affects people beyond one hospital? Because when enforcement expands, we know that fear spreads. People, as we've heard, are delaying medical care, pulling kids out of school, avoiding workplaces, and disengaging from daily life. We know that the harm does not stop at immigrant families, that it affects public health, worker safety, education, and community stability statewide. And that's why preparation cannot be reactive. And there are steps and measures that we can take right now. Institutions must remember that any ICE presence in your facility, as was stated, puts community and patients at risk. And patients in ICE detention are under civil detention, not criminal custody, and must be treated accordingly. Our community members, when they come here with threat of ICE or are detained, you have to remember, are very vulnerable, might not have access to interpretation, might not access daily living necessities or legal services. And so we're calling on you now to do the right thing before more wrongs are done to our communities. I want to make sure that folks know within the Fourth Amendment frame that every single person, no matter your status, has certain rights imbued upon you by this Constitution that follow you even into the halls of these hospitals. It protects us all from illegal search and seizure. That means mass federal agents do not have the right to enter these institutions without that signed judicial warrant. That protection applies to hospitals, schools, care facilities, businesses, faith communities, and workplaces. And so our institutions must do more now. Do not allow ICE on your premises without a valid signed judicial warrant. Train staff who are hungry for this. They want to know your rights and responsibilities during search and seizure operations. And put clear policies in place so frontline workers are not left making impossible decisions under pressure. So HCMC, so all of our hospital leaders, you can follow the lead of our communities of brave workers and electeds across the country. Make sure that care is protected here at HCMC in the suburbs and greater Minnesota. We can do this, and we're counting on you.
Thank you, Representative. Next up, we have representing St. Paul Federation of Educators, Leah Van Dasser.
Yes, I am Leah Van Dasser, President of the St. Paul Federation of Educators. HCMC, the staff is working to get a safety protocol in place. What happened here recently shows why. Every hospital needs a protocol for ICE. Every single workplace, every business And every corporation, every institution needs a protocol to protect the constitutional rights of employees and patrons. The federal government is conducting illegal searches and seizures, and we need to be prepared. St. Paul educators have worked with the St. Paul Public Schools around a protocol already, and we've actually provided our members with that protocol right on a badge that goes right with their ID. They have it at their fingertips if needed in a crisis. This is not just a theory about a policy, it's a reality that we live in now. Protecting constitutional rights is not the job of any one community. It is the responsibility of every institution that serves the public. What we do now will determine if Minnesota can remain a place where people can live, work, learn, and seek care without fear. Thank you.
Our final speaker is a healthcare worker here from HCMC. We have, sorry.
Once again, that was a variety of local community leaders speaking at Hennepin County Medical Center. I believe we had some technical difficulties there, so apologies that we could not bring you the press conference in full, but that was a variety of local community leaders speaking at HCMC following ICE's presence at Hennepin County Medical Center and their increased presence in Minnesota in general. The press conference calling for clear protocols that protect patients' rights and safety with ICE's growing presence here in Minnesota. If you want to go back and watch that, wait till 5 because we want you to hang out with us. But if you can't, Fox 9 YouTube should have you covered. In the meantime, the afternoon shift continues in just a couple minutes. Stick with us. We'll be right back after this. back. You know, here on the afternoon shift, we tend to zig when others are zagging, but we're human. We're pack animals. We want to be, as much as we want to be different, we also want to be like everybody else. And it seems like every show, website, and app closed out 2025 with some kind of wrapped year-end recap. We know about the Spotify wrap, but there's all different kinds of wrapped. YouTube has a wrapped. Duolingo has a wrapped. Even apparently chess.com has a wrapped. Hell, some websites you probably don't want people knowing that you visit also have a wrapped as well. So damn it, even though it's 6 days into 2026, the afternoon shift wants to do our own version of a wrap. But you know, it's Fox 9. We got to keep it live. We got to keep it local. We always got the local angle. And when I think of local music, one of the first places that I think of is the Electric Fetus, the legendary record shop in Minneapolis. So here to help us recap the year that was in music is Jim Novak, the music buyer for the Electric Fetus. What's good, Jim?
Oh, it's all good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. I feel like this is kind of like we're on the cusp of being able to say Happy New Year. It's the 6th. We're not a full weekend.
No,
we're not a full weekend yet. Jim, I'm wondering, just off the top, if you could join any band in history, what band would you join?
I would join the Beatles.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great answer.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. And the reason is, I mean, they were the bleeding edge of creative music for 10 years.
Right.
And just to be able to, even just to be a fly on the wall, even just to be Ringo and sit there and kind of figure it out, like that would be just so amazing to see, to know that you were with, you know, the most creative minds in the world.
I know, that would have been awesome, right? I mean, they were bigger than Jesus. Just ask John Lennon himself.
Just ask him.
I'm wondering, as the music buyer, that's your title with the Electric Fetus. It seems pretty self-explanatory. But what goes into the process of choosing which music to buy?
Well, so we maintain an assortment. It's roughly 30,000 albums that we have at any given point. The industry cranks out that many in 1 year. So we can only bring in about 10% of what the industry's cranking out every year.
Right.
So I have to decide what do I think is going to sell? What's going to resonate with people in Minneapolis and people that shop our website? So it's looking at sales history, it's looking at who's coming to town, it's looking at the First Avenue show calendar. It's just trying to figure out what's what, and you know, I haven't been right yet. So it's been 10 years.
Well, that's funny because that actually leads me to my next question. Is like, is there a record that you kick yourself that you didn't buy that you're like, man, this is just doing gangbusters other places? Is there a record that comes to the top of your mind where you're like, I didn't get this, but
every week. Every week. So we bring in about 100 things a week. Between different CDs and albums, depending on what's going on in the industry. And so there's every week. Like, my goal is, like, if I'm light on something, I can usually pick it up within a few days.
Yeah.
Like, so if I totally miss on something, I can call the label and go, hey, can you overnight us these where, you know, I totally messed up? Or, oh, I've got way too many. Let's put them on sale. So it is, it's kind of, you're balancing it. So usually, you know, if I can get through the first weekend, because street dates are on Friday, so if I can get through the first weekend and kind of get an idea of, oh, hey, a ton of people came in and scrambling for this, or I get the call at noon on Friday, yeah, why don't you have this new album that's like everybody's talking about? So it happens every week.
It's kind of like being a quarterback in the NFL. Sometimes you throw an interception, you got to go on to the next play.
You got to keep on going, man, because the industry's putting out another 28,000 albums this year, so I got to figure out what's coming out.
Music is coming out left and right. It's hard to keep track of all the different albums, all the different records coming out. But you guys came out with your top 10 list, not only local artists, but as well as just kind of artists et al. What were some of the records? I see you brought some with you. What were some of the top records in 2025?
Number one, no surprise, Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
I mean, probably it's one of the best rap records of the last few years.
For sure.
And obviously, you know, he started the year as headlining the Super Bowl halftime, so it's been the year of Kendrick. I mean, this record has been in our top 10 pretty much since it came out at the end of January last year. So, yeah, I mean, super huge. I mean, as far as hot records right now, Geese, they're having a moment right now. They just played the Amsterdam, so they're going to go from playing, a couple hundred people in the Amsterdam. They probably play Surly Field this summer, which is like 10,000.
Dang!
They are exploding right now. And on the pop side, Olivia Dean is selling a boatload of albums.
My daughter loves Olivia Dean. She just put me onto her recently. She's pretty dope.
This album is so good. It's totally a great, like, really soulful R&B record.
Yeah.
Like Amy Winehouse, and there's a bit of
it reminds me of some almost like big bandy swing kind of music, like Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, it's definitely, it has a really broad appeal. And this is one that, you kind of talked about having to chase a bit. Like, this is one that really surprised me. Obviously, we're looking and seeing what streaming numbers are and what songs are being played on the radio. But like it seemed like every time I'd order a box, and I would tell them, and I have to order 2 boxes, and then I would tell them, and then it just got to the point where like, how many can I have?
Right. Yeah. Just give me all of the Olivia Dean. Whatever Olivia Dean you got, please supply it to the Electric Fetus. I love it. So based on, because obviously you're consuming a lot of music, probably more than you're in the 99th percentile, probably out there in the world, right?
Yes. The streaming service tells me that I'm in the top 0.5% of users.
Wow.
And it is pretty much all day, every day.
Yeah.
It's like trying to figure this out. Like, yes, I get to pick music I'm listening to, but today, for example, I was going through all the new releases coming out from Warner Brothers, and had to like, I'm not familiar with this. I'm not familiar with this. Who's this? And so so it is. It's checking out all of those things, and some I like, some I don't, but some I have to figure out. Well, music's like ice cream, right? There's a flavor for somebody. So,
right, exactly.
So you gotta, you gotta see, use your judgment.
Right, you don't want to yuck anybody's yum. You gotta, sometimes I don't like Neapolitan, but I can see its appeal.
Exactly right.
So as someone that's in, the 99th percentile of music listeners, music consumers, probably in the entire world, what were some trends that you noticed across music in 2025? Because I feel like, every year kind of has the one thing or a couple things that come to mind. What was 2025's kind of the top trends that come to mind?
K-pop continues to explode.
Yeah.
It really went mainstream with K-pop Demon Hunters. And
it didn't feel like, at first it felt like there was not another level for it to go, and then K-pop Demon Hunter came out, and it went to a whole different level.
I think we will all be surprised that there are way more levels that K-pop is going to be able to hit. And it's really been driving the K-pop physical music platform is primarily on the CD. So I should have brought one of the K-pop CD packages. They are amazing. Yeah. They've got trading cards and stickers and postcards and things that it's like a photo book of all the of each person in the band.
Yeah.
So it is a perfect physical media genre.
Is that in and of itself kind of a trend as well as making it more of a multimedia thing for these things like packaging? Because I've in a totally different way, like movie theaters, for example, are never just showing movies anymore. There's an axe throwing, there's bars, and there's the arcade, and there's all types of stuff. Everything is becoming multi-platform, multifaceted. So is that kind of the same in album packaging as well?
That's the thing. And K-pop fans, they're just rabid collectors, right? They have to have, they will buy 2 or 3 copies of one just to make sure that they have the right trading cards of their favorites. So, and it's an amazing thing. We are seeing our CD business is nuts. So vinyl, everybody's been talking about vinyl coming back for the last 15 years, right? Well, our new vinyl business is still growing. It was up 10% in 2025.
Nice.
CDs are up 25%.
Oh, wow. CDs?
Yeah, right?
Okay. Everybody's been waiting. Once vinyl came back, the next question is, when are CDs coming back? I got Tupacalypse now sitting at home just waiting. And now you're saying CDs are on the up and up now.
CDs are on the up and up now. We're still like 80% vinyl, 20% CDs. So
right.
It's coming off of a lower number.
Right.
But no one is more surprised than me. We've been talking about how we can expand our vinyl selection, expand vinyl, and now we're like, well, wait a second. People are buying CDs again, and it's not just for the nostalgia factor. It's the K-pop fans that I talked about. We're selling, Rosalia. We're selling a ton of CDs for these pop artists, and it's that is the surprise. That is the trend, and that is what's gonna we're gonna see how it continues into 2026, man. Because it was the biggest surprise to me. That and then these portable CD players. We are showing teenagers how to use portable CD players.
It's unbelievable.
Totally cool with that.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're not sure, we'll show you how it works.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's.
I love that so much. I'm gonna tell you, I did not think that you were going to come in here today and say that young people are buying portable CD players again. That makes me so happy.
They are. They are. Yes, someone would hold the CD up to their phone and go, well, how's this work? No, you're going to need another device,
right.
And we happen to have them for you. And it's great.
That's amazing. Do they still skip? Has the portable CD players technology grown, or is it kind of still? Does it still skip when you go over a speed bump?
It depends how fast you're going. They have the anti-skip, they have the buffer, the whatever 8-second buffer or whatever it's, after it spins up, but it's still, if you're driving rough enough, or if you let the dog chew on it,
that's
it'll
true.
Still skip,
Yep, and put them back in the case. That was
Please.
always oh my gosh, when I was a kid,
they were always laying on the back floor of the car.
Yep.
Or someone would stick it like in the sun visor, and it would come back
and fall out.
And be completely scratched.
Yeah, you could only listen to half of one song.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're doing weird like DIY fix-its. Because I remember me and my friends swore that if you flush a video game or a CD down the toilet, that it would become usable again. And honestly, anecdotally, had a pretty high success rate. But we tried it with a GameCube game one time. They're a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Broke in half. I just heard him go in the bathroom. He's like, I'm going to clean this game. And then I just hear, no! So, we gave up that method. But can you confirm? Have you ever tried to flush a CD down the toilet to clean it?
I can honestly tell you that I have never flushed a CD down. We have a machine in the store called a buffer. So I would not recommend to anybody watching or listening to flush anything that's not belonging down the toilet. But a CD definitely. We have a buffer. We can take care of that for you. If your dog chewed on it, or if you found it on the back seat or under the seat of your car and you want to see if it still works, bring it in. We've got a buffer in the shop. We'll buff it up. We'll give it the best shot. Probably a little better hit rate than flushing it down the toilet.
I would imagine that it is. So if you got a scratch CD, head on down to the Electric Fetus to see Jim Novak there. We're lucky to have him in studio. I would imagine that your prediction for 2026 is more K-pop dominance. What is a trend that you think is going to rise in 2026? Is ska music is gonna have a moment?
What wave of ska would we be on? Are we on the 13th waves of ska right now?
At this point, yeah.
I'd love to see that.
That would be amazing.
I would love
now
to see
that would be a surprise. That would be even more surprising than CD players coming back.
That would definitely be, yes. I would be pretty gobsmacked for that. I mean, I think we're gonna see a lot of superstar names putting out records this year. Charlie XCX has a record coming out next month. Mm. It's a soundtrack to the new Wuthering Heights movie, so it's very different. It's not going to be Brat Spring or Brat Summer. This is very atmospheric and moody and very, very cool. And she's all over that. And there's going to be a lot of big names, but there's always something out of left field, and that's what I love about music, man.
It's the best part.
It is the best part. You never really know what to expect, and for me, it's like there's a surprise every week of like, oh, people are coming in looking for this. I had no idea. And, it's tons of fun. I love doing it.
It's so much fun, and I could just feel the passion like brimming out of you, even after all this time. You still love music, and we love that. My producer is wondering. She wanted we didn't give you an earpiece, so she can't ask you. So I'll relay the message. She wants to know: Are we all just fools using the words record and album interchangeably? Are they synonymous, or are they different things? What is the difference between a record and an album?
What generation are you?
She's Gen Z.
Okay,
I'm born in 1993. So
all right. I'm Gen X.
I like to think that I know the difference between a record and an album. But for those out there, our younger viewers, what is the difference between a record and an album?
As a Gen X person growing up in the my peak was the 80s and 90s. A record and an album are the same thing. Because most people consumed albums like this.
Right.
This thing. That's what it was.
That's how it was.
They were the same. But now it can be whatever you like. I mean, it really is just and we use them. I use them interchangeably. We use them interchangeably in the shop. But yeah, there really isn't a difference. And the singles business, there used to be a lot of 745 singles and CD singles, and a lot of that business went to streaming services for obvious reasons because it's way, way, way more convenient. So when we talk about records, we're really primarily talking about albums.
See, I told you, Grace. We're not all just fools. It's the same thing. It's not insider shop lingo. We're all in the know about it.
We are fools, but for different reasons.
Yeah, for completely different reasons. Jim, just a second ago, we were talking about trends that are kind of out of left field. 2026 already kind of has a trend. I'm reading that Prince's streaming numbers are shooting through the roof because of the Stranger Things finale. Are you guys seeing Prince records flying off the shelf since that finale?
I just ordered another 100 copies of Purple Rain yesterday. Thank you very much. Yes. So that's part of the job I have to watch out for too. I mean, awareness for older things, or for music that's been out for a while. Mm-hmm. It could come from anywhere. I mean, a couple of seasons ago, Stranger Things put Kate Bush back on the map.
Yeah.
And we sold a ton after running up that hill became popular again. We do it, pretty much any major TV show finale. We're wondering, what's the song that plays over the end credits, or what's in the new hot movie? Is it like Guardians of the Galaxy brought back all the yacht rock and the easy listening soft rock of the 70s, right? So there is something culturally happening all the time, and whether it gets traction or not, and whether it drives people in the shop, like that's something that I'm always trying to keep my ears open and trying to figure out, hey, what's going to be the next thing?
For sure, because everything's multimedia, like we talked about. Even if you don't watch the Stranger Things finale, you see a clip of it playing the music, or it ends up on TikTok somewhere. So that's got to be all part of the research, right?
It is, yes. And so when I am scrolling at the dinner table, I'm not being rude.
Yeah.
I'm working, really, honestly.
Now, I was just talking to you guys off the air. I'm a huge fan of Electric Fetus. I was there earlier in the year. I got to see one of my favorite artists, American music icon, Bootsy Collins. He did a freaking DJ set for free at the Electric Fetus. Just some of the awesome events that you guys got going on at the record shop. What else you guys got going on heading into the new year?
Well, I encourage everybody to follow our social media on Facebook, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, wherever you're social mediating. Check us out. We do have a calendar of all of our upcoming events. We have a listening event coming up in a couple of weeks for The Format, which was a group that reformed after a long hiatus, and they got their first new record coming out in a long time, and we'll be highlighting that. And we have other things that I can't tell you about, unfortunately. I'll tell you after we're done here.
Okay.
But yes, we do have a lot of listening events coming up. The major labels release schedule is starting to fire. They start firing at all cylinders starting in February. So we'll have stuff going on pretty much every week.
I'm super excited. You'll probably see me every single week. I'll be blocking somebody's view of whoever's in the record shop performing that day. If you had a listening event, Jim, I would attend. I thought this was a great listening event. Jim Novak, the Music Bar, Electric Fetus Record Shop. Head on down to Minneapolis. It's the best record shop in town. Iconic. You can't tell a story of Minneapolis music without talking about Electric Fetus. Speaking of stories to tell, we got plenty more on the afternoon shift. Stick with us after this commercial break. The privilege, the blessing to be joined today by the one, the only. Who the hell are you again? We haven't seen you in like a month, Lauren Andrego. The 2025 top homie. It is a top. The top homie is a title you got to earn.
Every
you
year.
got to keep going.
It's
You
like
can't
employee
just
of the
be the
month.
number one golfer in the world and not golf. You know,
what?
so
I
like
respect that.
So, but you're still number one. You
still
ended
am.
2025
I'm the
number
Tiger
one.
Woods of
Yeah,
this show.
but listen, Jesse's like right there. We've already had Jesse on. We've had Jesse on like 3 times in the last week. She's right there.
Shoot.
We got to get, yeah.
I would be okay with tying this year.
That's okay. Like a Mean Girl situation, break the crown, and everybody gets to.
Yeah, but neither of us are mean girls.
Yeah, I know, but you know the movie, right? Yeah,
We're all Janicians.
Yeah. Everybody's a Janice. Yeah. Or who's the other friend that she had? The big dude.
Oh, Damien.
Damien.
I love
He's
him.
the best. He's the funniest.
He's really
character.
busy with quiet.
Yeah. Danny DeVito, I love your work.
Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Speaking of loving your work, I love your work when you do the afternoon
Thank
tea.
you.
Are we sipping a little afternoon tea
Well,
today? Similar?
I thought we would take a little stray away from our afternoon tea and talk about the new year, capitalize on this new year energy.
Are you a
New
resolutions
me.
girly?
I am. New Year's Eve is actually my favorite holiday.
Really?
I love a fresh start.
Okay.
I love setting resolutions, setting goals, and also just like on the back end, auditing your whole year.
Yeah,
I love doing that because it gives you a chance to look back and think about what did I do that I really liked this year?
Yeah.
What were my 10 best days of the year, and how do I multiply that as much as I can in 2026?
I like that. 10 best days. I'm going to start keeping track of
You
that.
should.
Yeah.
It's easy just to go through your iPhone, like your photos and or Android or whatever.
Right. We ain't hating, flip
or your
phone,
Polaroids,
BlackBerry. I don't think
whatever
you got
you
pictures on there, but
and just go through and look through the memories and what were my best days of the year.
Yeah.
What do I need a little bit more of? What do I
Right.
need a little bit less of? Because we all have a little bit of that. And I know for a lot of folks, they want to pick up something new, do something new.
For sure.
Especially people our age. I think we're spending a lot of time inside on our devices.
No, that's literally my New Year's resolution was to find more community, find more friends, find more spaces to be in publicly. Because that was my 2025 goal, and I feel like I did the opposite. Like,
well,
I feel like
I think a lot of us are in that boat.
Yeah, like a lot of us are just kind of like, how do you, especially at this age, I'm 32, I just turned 32, it's like, well, how do I make new friends?
Right.
Like, what do I do? Like, there, yeah.
And the old adage in Minnesota is in order to make new friends, go to kindergarten with them.
No, literally, all of my best friends I went to high school, middle school, or elementary school with.
It's kind of laughable. And so imagine for a transplant, it's a different world out there.
Whole different world.
Post-COVID, and we're all in our 9-to-5s, and we all work, and then we go home. So I pulled together a couple of different events and clubs, some ideas that are local for the new year.
I love
something to pick up, to try a new hobby, meet some new friends, or, find a new passion.
Just try new things.
Yeah.
That should be 2026 motto for everybody. Try new things. We're all so much in our routine.
And I want to start in Minneapolis at a place called Prize Brewing. Have you been there?
No, I
In
have
Northeast?
not.
It's a really good spot. And they are hosting an event tonight from a group called Break the Bubble.
Break the Bubble.
Break the Bubble is this kind of nationwide campaign of making friends.
Wow, the whole United States.
Break
I
the
love
bubble.
that.
Yeah.
Break
So
the bubble. Make
they-
it easy for people.
Yeah, you can look up Break the Bubble Twin Cities. They host events just about every month. It kind of feels like a professional networking event, but it's not. It's purely just based on meeting friends. So you go there tonight to Prize, show up, put on a name tag, and start introducing yourself.
So it's kind of like, remember in the first day of college when they make you play human bingo?
Human bingo. Oh, is that where you have to go
Like
and
when you have like the
find
bingo sheet,
someone
it'll be
who
like,
is-
find someone who traveled to Japan or whatever,
And
like,
it feels so awkward when you're 18 and you're like, I have plenty of friends.
I don't need to do that.
But when you're 30,
it's like, that's
things are a
great.
little bit different and it's time to meet new people. Sometimes you just do need something to break open that door, such as putting on a name tag and both going to the same slightly awkward event.
Yeah, but it's kind of like I remember in a totally different way. Stick with me here.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was young and I would be, before thrifting was cool, and I'd be at the thrift store and I'd be like, I don't want to be seen at the thrift store.
Sure.
But then you think about it later on, it's like, well, if I saw someone else at the thrift, they at the thrift store too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, if I feel awkward, then that person feels. We're both here for the same thing, so there's no reason to feel awkward.
Absolutely.
Let's just get into it.
Yeah, you're just bridging a connection
Right.
that you both already have, but you had to go to that place to find that person with a
Exactly.
connection. So that's happening tonight. Anyone over 21 is allowed to show up for free and go meet some new friends. If you want to do something a little bit more permanent, I found a roundup of some very cool clubs.
Oh,
starting with the Twin
yes.
Cities Craft Club.
Craft Club.
Yeah,
Okay, I love
isn't this
macaroni
nice?
and cheese. Like we just get
Oh,
together and we just
yeah.
mix up. Like the SpongeBob ones
Well,
are probably the best.
Unfortunately, I am talking about crafts with a C. Although, if you wanted to bring macaroni art to the craft club,
okay.
you could, because
Now we're
any
talking.
artist, any type
Any
of art
artist.
is possible. They just meet up about monthly at a different coffee shop or brewery and just get their craft on.
I love that. Because that's like such a thing that is so individualistic. You know, I feel like we all think of our crafts like, I'm going to go home, be by myself, do my little knitting or whatever. But it's like, why not just have somebody around?
Yeah, why not have someone doing macrame next to you and someone watercoloring on the other side of you?
Me freestyling. Yeah, they said any kind of artist. I could show up and just make like my gangster rap music. yeah. Just like, yo, bring my dog to make a beat.
And then someone's like, they'll ask if you do requests, and you'll be like, yeah, what do you want? And they'll be like, please stop.
Yeah, my request is that you stop and you leave right now before we call the police.
You know what? They seem like a really welcoming community. I think they would welcome your freestyling.
Yes.
They host all sorts of fun events too. Like last month they did a show and tell. So at the end of the year, everyone shows up and brings their art project that they worked on.
And that's amazing. And that's basically, as adults, we all want an excuse to be in a show and tell type situation. That
agree.
Is literally Instagram, is it not?
Show and tell should not have stopped when we were 10 years old. It should keep going.
I have new things I want to show people.
I do. I've collected quite a few things over the years.
Right.
So no posted events yet for 2026 for the Twin Cities Craft Club, but they have a very active Instagram presence. You can go find them there and learn all about it.
Twin Cities Craft Club. I love it. Craft some friendships, some long-lasting.
Craft some friendships. Let's talk about some sports.
Oh,
if you want to meet some sporty people,
let's do it.
We've all heard of pickleball. Everyone's doing pickleball these
Everybody,
days.
their mom,
you can't get a
grandma.
freaking reservation on a pickleball court anywhere inside.
They're packed at like 4 a.m.
Yes. Yep. And until 10 p.m. because leagues are going on. So I wanted to find a couple more niche activities that maybe like this will become the new pickleball of 2026. Adult broom ball.
I don't even know what child broom ball is.
Yeah, well, that's
I'm like what is broom ball in general? It's got to be like some hockey type deal, right?
It's just like hockey, but with a broom.
With a broom. I love that. That's
and I
exactly
think
what
they play
Google's
more
saying.
on just like a gymnasium floor. I don't think they're necessarily playing on ice.
Special brooms with rubber tips as well. So not just your any day broom.
Not just, you leave those layman brooms at home. We need the special equipment. So the city of St. Paul offers a lot of co-ed activities for every sport, all ages. And broom ball is now open for registration beginning at the end of January. You do not have to live in the city of St. Paul, but it's men's, women's, and co-ed. And you can play broom ball once a week with some new friends.
That sounds really fun, actually. I want to try some of these niche sports because, like, what if I'm secretly the Michael Jordan or Wayne Gretzky of broom ball, and I just don't know because I haven't been put in the proper opportunity to showcase my skills.
I do also feel like Wayne Gretzky could have been the Wayne Gretzky
he probably
of broom ball.
could.
I think those skills kind of transfer
Well, see,
over.
that's probably why the universe didn't give me those skills because a person like Wayne Gretzky is respectful, honorable. He's like, I'm just going to be done playing. When I would be playing pickup hockey against every single schlub that I could find, every park, all day, every day, just beasting on people.
Putting the starters in.
Dunking on people. So that's probably why I don't have those abilities. But maybe I do. Maybe broom ball is my calling.
Try it out. There's a bunch of different locations where you can join a league within the city of St. Paul, and all sorts of different sports. Sweet. Another one in St. Paul. Have you ever curled before?
No, but I know it's a big thing in Minnesota. Yeah. We got a curling legacy, some Olympians, some gold medalists.
We dominate the Olympic team. And there's a lot of really cool historic curling clubs in the Twin Cities. A curling club was one of the first men's clubs that really gained a lot of traction in St. Paul.
Wow.
And in Frogtown, they've had the Frogtown Curling Club very near the capital for decades. And they are hosting an open house for anyone who wants to try curling.
Sweet.
So you can go for free January 17th. That's not this Saturday, but next Saturday from 1 to 7 p.m. Go anytime you want. All the equipment will be there. There will be pros, maybe not professionals, but experts there who can teach you how to do it. And then after that, you sign up for a league.
That's the. Have you ever done it before?
I have.
That's the one where you're like.
Yeah,
doing all that stuff.
Big bicep workout.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
But it's fun to slide on that ice, and you have the rock. And then I was more of the glider than the brusher. That seems like a little bit more fun. But the Winter Olympics coming up next month.
I was just about to say that's perfect timing for that. Get your curl on right before the Winter Olympics in Italy.
A couple more here. Twin Cities Amateur Bakers Club.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't that just sound like the
why
sweetest
not?
club
I mean,
ever?
a food club, count me in. I feel bad for everybody trying my dish, but I will happily enjoy everybody else's dish.
And that's the interesting part about this. They meet in breweries with their finished products.
So you're not cooking together, because that would take way too long.
And I think sometimes they might have some little breakout sessions, but the theme of their first meetup, which is this Sunday, January 11th, is first baked good. So they want every person to bring something they remember being the first baked good they made and loved.
That's
And then you go
awesome.
around, you try everybody's, you talk about it, you share secrets, you share your Pinterest pins. And they
share the
meet up about, it
Pinterest.
looks like they meet up about once a month and maybe sometimes do some actual cooking and baking skills. But for the most part, eating baked goods.
That sounds like a kind of club that I would sign up for.
We can all get behind on that.
Absolutely.
Also,
Yeah.
really cute. They have a Discord server.
Oh, look at that. So
I
you
don't
can
know
stay
what's going on in
connected.
there,
Yeah.
but I want to know.
But you can stay
Do
connected.
you think I could just sneak in on
just
that?
just hack it. Just
some
like,
headphones
hey
in.
guys, I just want some. I just
here
want
to
some
listen.
recipes. I just
here
want
to
some
enjoy
ingredients.
in my
Yeah.
ear. Yeah. Finally, the Twin Cities is home to a place called the WTF Club. Do you know what it is?
What's the frequency club? Maybe a radio club. Oh,
That's a good idea.
yeah, that would be pretty good.
Write that down for
Okay.
later. It's the Watch Terrible Films Club.
Oh my gosh, I am okay.
I
This
feel
might
like
be
you
my
could get
number
into
one.
this.
A really bad movie is honestly just as good
Yeah.
as a really good
Shared with friends.
movie. Yeah, 100%.
What was the last really bad movie that you saw? Or can you think of a really bad movie that you actually enjoyed?
Yeah. Well, because there's a difference. Because I saw the worst movie I saw last year was Him, the Marlon Wayans football horror movie.
Oh, I didn't know.
And it was one of those ones because there's bad movies where it's like, jeez,
Yeah.
when is this movie going to end? And
Yeah.
then there's movies that are so bad that they turn into comedies essentially.
Yes.
And that was Trap. Do you remember that movie that came out 2 years ago? M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh.
It was about a dad who takes his daughter to essentially that world's equivalent of a Taylor Swift concert. Turns out the whole concert is a ruse to capture the father, who is a serial killer.
Oh, kind
But
of Black
the police
Mirror-y.
don't know who the killer is. They just somehow know that he's going to be at the concert.
Oh,
And they
plot
get
hole.
Taylor Swift essentially to in on it. So Taylor Swift holds this concert knowing there's a serial killer at her concert.
Wow.
And the whole thing is about them trying to catch this serial killer.
Did they just profile every person's face and are like, it's you? We think it's you.
It is literally
among the 50,000.
the most ridiculous
M. Night Shyamalan. Wait,
premise. It's got Josh Hartnett. We love Josh Hartnett. I think he's from here, or is it? Yeah, he was born in St. Paul. Josh Hartnett. Yeah, so we love Josh Hartnett, but it literally turned into a There was one guy in the theater. I felt really bad because me and my best friend we were just hooting and hollering the whole movie because it's so
He's so
bad.
ridiculous.
Yeah, and then there's one guy kind of sitting in the corner taking it very seriously. He's
uh-oh.
very
Was that M.
solemn.
Night Shyamalan?
Maybe it was. Yeah, he's like, damn it, that hit my movie. You know, because sometimes they always show the videos where actors and directors sneak into the movie and everybody's like, yay, this is great. But
Right.
what if you sneak in the movie and everybody's like, boo, this is trap. But eventually the guy joined in on our goofying
Yeah.
and just laughed with us because it was so freaking ridiculous. So a really bad movie. Think about, like, if you see something is 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, you go, wow, I got to see that. It's unanimous. But if you see something that's 0%,
Right.
that's also like, I got to check that out.
Yeah, it's
So
like
I'm
the
with
All's
this.
Fair on Hulu versus Shawshank.
Right.
You're going to have a great experience in both of them. It's
Exactly.
just going to be a different
That
experience.
Ice Cube War of the
Okay.
Worlds movie.
What? Ice Cube?
Did you not see that one?
What is it?
It was a war. It's War of the Worlds.
Oh,
but it's literally all filmed through Zoom. The entire thing. It is just him on the computer making faces.
Yeah,
like, on a
I
fake
remember
computer
this.
Screen, just like,
Oh, goodness.
like the whole movie. It's like 2 hours of that. It has literally 0% on Rotten
Why did we
Tomatoes.
think that was going to be
I
a
have
good
no
part of
idea.
history we wanted to?
Right.
Okay, well, I think you'd get a kick out of the Watch Terrible Films Club. So every third Monday, they meet at the Barrel Room at 56 Brewery. The movie begins at 7 p.m. It's free to attend.
Sweet.
And all movies are selected by the Watch Terrible Films Club. And you can follow on Instagram to see what show they're going to be doing that month.
I love that so much. There honestly are a couple of clubs in there that I think I might have to look into.
I think it's fun.
Which one would you join out of the ones that you
You know
have
what?
named?
As an amateur baker with big goals in 2026, I do think the Twin Cities Amateur Bakers Club, I've got a lot to learn there.
Sure. But you're also like, is that kind of going back to what I was saying about the Wayne Gretzky thing? Because you are also a competition baker at this point. Are you an amateur? Are you going to be flexing on the amateurs by being there? Because you're kind of semi-pro at this point.
Well, I've not made a single dollar off of baking anything, so I wouldn't say that. I haven't even earned a ribbon yet. But working on that for the state fair this year.
Yes, 2026.
That or the crafts club.
Fingers
Honestly,
crossed.
I think anything where it's low stakes, you didn't put any money in, you're just there to go enjoy something amongst people. We're missing that right now.
We really are.
In society. And, when you graduate high school, all of a sudden clubs aren't really available to you anymore.
It's not a thing
and
anymore.
we lose something when
And it's
we
like
lose that.
when you're in high school, you think clubs are lame. When you have access to them, and then you grow up and you're like, well, I wish I had access to clubs.
Right.
But you don't.
Yeah.
It's the cruelty of life.
But now you do.
You do.
Yeah.
Thanks to Lauren and Drago. Thanks. I absolutely. I think I'm the Terrible Films Club. I think I'm joining the Baking Club.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, maybe even the doing some of the curling club. I might have to join all these.
It's
clubs.
a big year for you, man.
I think so. I think my New Year's resolution's already accomplished. I found community and friendship.
There you did. Yeah.
Thanks,
there we
Lauren.
go.
If there was a WTS club, a Watch Terrible Segments club, guess what they wouldn't show? This segment right here, or any segment that
That's
the top
right.
homie Lauren Andrego is on. Thanks for joining us again, Lauren. It's good to have
Anytime.
you back. Anytime. All right, well, maybe next segment, Lauren Andrego. No, I'm just kidding. But we do have more afternoon shift coming up next. Stick with us. Don't touch that dial. Second hour of the afternoon shift. I'm in here until 5 today, hanging out with you because we got so much big newsy things. If you check the calendar today, obviously you know today is January 6th. One of those dates that was kind of instantly logged into the calendar of infamy 5 years ago, following the insurrection riots at the Capitol at the White House in D.C., with today being the 5-year anniversary. House Democrats such as Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, as well as Hakeem Jeffries, they'll be speaking here in just a moment live from the Capitol in remembrance of the 5th anniversary of January 6th. Grace, obviously, I mean, 5 years ago, it kind of seems crazy to hear that. It still kind of feels fresh. It still feels very recent. Also kind of feels like it's one of those things where 5 years ago feels like longer and shorter at the same exact time.
Yeah.
It's just one of those days that you'll never hear the same again. You hear
Yeah.
September 11th, you instantly think of obviously the 9/11 attacks. You think of December 7th, you think of Pearl Harbor and whatnot. And then January 6th kind of instantly is in that calendar of infamy where every time you even hear the day, you automatically think about that day.
Right.
When you hear January 6th, what do you remember from that day?
Oh, I was in high school at the time. So I was a senior in high school, and I remember coming home from school, and my mom had the news on. And it was kind of hard to believe looking at it. I mean, I was living in Tennessee at the time, and it was very much like how is this real? How is this happening? Like, you just don't think of this, even the potential of this happening. And I was thinking about it too, and it overlapped with COVID, which is so strange to me. Like, it just doesn't feel like that happened at the same time. But how scary for the people within the building to experience something like that. You would think the U.S. Capitol would really be the most highly secured place on earth, so the fact that people were able to breach it is a scary thought.
Yeah, that was one of the most surreal parts of it, is that there was just seemingly just watching on that day live in real time, not a whole lot of resistance. It was just kind of like these people running wild in the Capitol. It was surreal. It seemed like a movie. Like, I felt like, okay, maybe this is like a big scheme. Ashton Kutcher's back. We're all being punked. Maybe this is some film set. They're doing some guerrilla shooting and we don't know about it yet. It didn't look like real scenes from the United States Capitol, because like you said, just in your head you think that's got to be the most secure place in the world, right?
Yeah.
But then there's all types of people that were just kind of running rampant, very little security, and obviously it just turned into this giant thing that ballooned and is still going and still affecting, still has ripple effects to this day. I just saw kind of a follow-up with the infamous QAnon shaman. I saw there was a piece all about that was published somewhere or another earlier today. I didn't get a chance to dive into it, but just like kind of the whole chaos and craziness surrounding it. And I guess also, watching it in real time, I guess we didn't know how severe like some of the violence was, because it kind of, when you first see it, it's almost funny. It's like just like the visual of people, because it wasn't like you hear riot, you think of someone with like a weapon in their hand and pitchforks, but it was just kind of people casually just walking around, hands in the pockets, like, this is, like the one guy walked out and he's like, ain't nothing in there, man. And then he just leaves, and people were just, it was very casual for a loaded word like insurrection. And obviously that's what it was. But obviously you hear the word insurrection, and I think it harkens to a certain kind of visual, and that certainly wasn't it. Watching it in real time, we weren't all aware of kind of the violence that precluded that, or that was happening in other parts of the White House, until we got the full details in the following days afterwards.
And I remember, the pictures that you see from inside the Capitol building and of the riots outside of the building, those pictures are going to be in textbooks.
Yeah.
Like, it's really interesting to think about how it's going to be taught in the future. And the people who rioted, they weren't dressed the way that maybe you would think of a rioter, to dress. It's just, it was such a bizarre day. Like, again, like you said, it does not feel like 5 years ago, but the 5th anniversary is a pretty large mark, and like I said, we're waiting for Democrat House representatives to talk about remembering it. And they were supposed to start at 4, but again, sometimes these things are run a little bit late, or there's a lot of things to handle. But we heard them doing a mic check just now and balancing out the cameras. But let's sit on the podium for just a second, and we'll see if anyone comes to the podium.
Sounds good.
We're seeing some movement now from some House Democrats. It looks like they're holding candles in their hand. We'll see what they have to say. But like I said, this was supposed to kick off at 4. We're just waiting on Senate Majority Chuck Schumer to be speaking shortly, and also House Minority Leader Representative Jeffries to speak.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you to Leader Jeffries, to my Senate colleagues and all members of the House, and thank you to all of those in attendance today who loved ones because of January 6th. To Officer Brian Sicknick's mother and brother, Gladys and Glenn. Gladys and I are Madison High School graduates together. To Officer Jeffrey Smith's spouse, Erin, and to everyone else, thank you for being here. We are here today because we must never forget what happened on January 6th, 5 years ago. Not only must we remember it, but so much our children, must our children, our grandchildren, and future generations. The day democracy was placed at greater risk than it has been in a century, in more than a century. 5 years ago, a vicious mob tried to undo American democracy. Thousands of rioters, egged on by Donald Trump, stormed the U.S. Capitol, smashed its windows, desecrated its hallways, ransacked its offices in an attempt to steal the 2020 election. Members hid in the House chamber. Staffers barricaded themselves in offices, hid behind desks, fear for their lives. I remember the moment. I was sitting at my desk. I had just become the putative majority leader because we had won the election the night before. And I'm sitting there feeling, wow, and all of a sudden, I feel an hand grab my collar. Never forget that feel. My brave Capitol Police officer, Mike Lazinski, said, "Senator, we got to get out of here. You're in danger." And I looked up at the podium and I saw Pence being rushed off the platform. We went out the Senate door, made a right turn, opened another door, and we were within 20 feet of those rioters, of those insurrectionists. One of them looked at me and said, "There he is, get him." But because of the work of my brave police officers, led by Mike Lazinski, I wasn't hurt. Let us never mince words about what happened again. Those who try to lie about it, those who try to make up myths about it, we're not there. We were. Most of us. We know exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. And then, even more malicious, Donald Trump's White House released a maliciously false account that blamed the Capitol Police for the violence. How disgraceful, how despicable, how disgusting, how low. Donald Trump showed what a low human being he is by his actions that day and in preceding days, where he tried to lie and cover up the truth. It's stunning. He is stunning in his maliciousness and his dishonesty. And then, to show truly who he was once again, if his evil character, if his bad character didn't come through enough, on the first day of his presidency, he issued a blanket pardon for every single criminal who attacked our police on January 6th. And now, in a vicious twist of the truth, he blames law enforcement for the violence. In the face of such blatant lies, let us all tell the truth and let future generations remember it. On January 6th, our Capitol Police officers were heroes. Our D.C. police were heroes. Our law enforcement, who protected this building, protected lives, protected democracy, were our true heroes, and to them, personified by the Sicknick and Smith families, we say thank you. You are the great Americans. You are the great Americans, not Trump and his minions. And it is just so disappointing, confounding, troubling that so many in Donald Trump's party now have fallen in line with what they know is a big lie about what happened that day. Whether it's viciousness, whether it's to seek low political advantage, almost all of them seem to go along with the big lie. And every time they do, they weaken structure and the party of this country and the beauty of this country. So, while Donald Trump pardons insurrectionists and lets those who attack our police officers walk free, we stand here with our first responders. We will make sure that your sacrifices this day are never forgotten, nor will we ever forget the lives of those we lost in the connection with the attack. We pray for all our deceased responders, our first responders, and our families. And in conclusion, let us remember the attack of January 6th is not over. It lives on in the threats to our election workers. It lives on through those who want to take away our right to vote, who want to legalize voter discrimination. We must never stop fighting for this beautiful democracy, which January 6th showed us is more fragile than we ever imagined. Donald Trump's big lie is powerful, but the roots of our democracy and our desire to make sure the truth remains the truth are even stronger. perseverance of the American people is greater. So God bless our first responders. God bless America, this great arsenal of democracy. Leader Jeffries.
Good evening. Thank you, Leader Schumer, Speaker Emerita Pelosi, to the Sicknick and Smith family, and to all of my colleagues who are present. Today, we gather here on the steps of the United States Congress, the citadel of our democracy, to commemorate the solemn 5-year anniversary of the violent insurrection incited by Donald Trump to overturn the results of a free and fair election. On that fateful day, hundreds of brave, courageous, and dedicated Capitol Police and DC officers stood on these very steps and across the Capitol grounds to defend the Congress, the country, and the Constitution. They were outnumbered by a violent mob, but never overwhelmed by the seriousness of the moment. For more than 5 hours, they were forced to engage in hand-to-hand combat, confronting thousands of bloodthirsty rioters who were unleashed by Donald Trump. They were beaten with pipes, whipped, assaulted by bear spray, and pummeled by Confederate flagpoles. They were bloodied, but unbowed. We owe these heroes an eternal debt of gratitude, and will never forget their service and their sacrifice. Had it not been for their bravery on that fateful day, many of us would not be alive right now, standing on these Capitol steps, continuing to serve our nation. And I have a simple message for the violent mob of insurrectionists. Donald Trump may have pardoned your crimes, but only God can pardon your sin. James Baldwin once made the observation that history is not merely something to be read, and it does not refer merely or even principally to the past. On the contrary, the great force of history comes from the fact that we carry it within us, are unconsciously controlled by it, and history is literally present in all that we do. It is to history that we owe our frames of reference, our identities, and our aspirations. We gather here today because we are still living the history of January 6th, and we will never allow it to be whitewashed. We thank the heroes of January 6th. We remember those whose lives were lost, aspire to be a better nation, and make clear to the election deniers that we will never allow a violent insurrection to take place on American soil again. Today, we are joined by the families of officers Brian Sicknick and Jeffrey Smith. Gladys, Ken, and Aaron, thank you so much for your presence here today and for your continued strength and patriotism. Now I ask everyone to join us in a moment of silence to remember those whose lives were lost as a result of the tragic and horrific events of January 6, 2021. May God bless those whose lives have been lost, their families, Capitol Police, members of law enforcement, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Sounds good. You just heard from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Representative Hakeem Jeffries, remembering the January 6th insurrection on its 5th anniversary. Very emotionally charged and impassioned words from Mr. Schumer and Mr. Jeffries, speaking on their experience during said riots and strong condemnation of the response of the Trump administration thereafter. We're going to go from the nation's capital to the state capital to hear from Governor Tim Walz as he spoke to the media earlier today about his decision to not seek re-election for a third term, among many other things. We'll hear from Governor Walz coming up in just a sec. A lot going on here at the afternoon shift. Stick with us. Welcome back to the afternoon shift. A lot of capital and newsy stuff going on here. We started off the show at HCMC as local community leaders spoke out about ICE's increased presence in Minnesota and a recent incident at HCMC. We just went to the state capitol, hearing from Chuck Schumer, among others, talking about the January 6th insurrection on its 5th anniversary. Now we're going to go to Governor Tim Walz. Anything happening with Governor Tim Walz lately? Obviously, he's been in the headlines a lot lately, most importantly because recently, just because of he announced yesterday that he will not be seeking his re-election for his third term as governor in Minnesota. I believe he elaborated on that and much other things in a press conference earlier today. So let's hear from old Timmy himself.
Decision to end your campaign by yourself, or did you receive pressure from Democratic allies?
This is a decision that I make and make with my family, and certainly I think, as I said, it's the right decision. I'll note, I think it's appropriate we're here today. The war that's being waged against Minnesota, you're seeing it. We have a ridiculous surge of apparently 2,000 people not coordinating with us that are for a show of the cameras. I'm going to note to all of you, today is January 6th. There's no debate what happened. The President of the United States led an insurrection against a fair election to try and overturn that and, report both sides of this. Well, he said he really didn't, and courts convicted 400 of them, and he pardoned them. No, he did that. He did that, and that's today. And it's clear that we also saw today he implemented 5 states are being punished with a freezing of federal funds illegally that were appropriated by Congress, our tax dollars. And I find it interesting that Minnesota, California, Illinois, and New York were taking that. The interesting thing is the biggest fraud trial in the country is taking place in Mississippi today with $100 million of welfare fraud. And, I don't believe Mississippi was on that list. So look, this is a concerted effort to try and destroy the president's opponents, to destroy the rule of law. And it became apparent to me that he was going to do that with me being there, and I just feel, along with my family, that it's the best decision for Minnesota, and I feel very confident in that. I think it's going to be clear that Minnesotans agree with that.
Governor, can you talk about
Can you break down your conversation with Senator Klobuchar on Sunday?
I've talked to everybody.
Can you break down specifically the conversation with her? Did you recommend that she consider running?
I spoke with all of the delegation, let them know. I spoke with a lot of key allies. I spoke with my family, and just let them know that this is what we were going to do. And Senator Klobuchar was one of those conversations. I think that we have a very deep bench. It's very clear to me. Again, I would mention this, that again, none of the people running for governor of Minnesota voted for this program. None of the folks running for governor condemned January 6th, and none of the people, the Republicans running for governor, had the damn common decency to Melissa and Mark's children, have asked them to stop doing what they're doing, the president. The question I would ask all of you is, you need to ask those people running for governor if they would ask the president to please stop attacking the Hortman children and telling lies about this. And so I am very confident a Democrat's going to win this. My conversation with Senator Klobuchar was the same conversation I've had with many others.
Governor, there's been the constant drumbeat coming from Washington, from the White House to many of the different departments in Washington, talking about fraud and talking about you. What was the one thing that you heard that said, this is why I've got to step out? Was it that constant drumbeat coming at you, or was it more of a personal decision?
No, I think it's a personal decision. It's effectiveness. I never took this job to be governor. I took the job to pass things like paid family medical leave. I took this job to get our children food. I took this job, and what I'll continue to do for a year is I will protect every single person in this state. And I had an announcement to them on our LGBT community, especially our trans community: stay the hell out of Minnesota for the folks who want to hassle those people. These are our neighbors. So for me, it became, if I can be as effective doing that, and it's clear, look, I don't think any governor in history has had to fight a war against the federal government every single day, and now it's reaching down into our commissioners. And look, what Donald Trump tweeted the other night put the Hortman children's at risk. They have to look at security, put my family at risk again. What he's doing to the Somali community is absolutely unconscionable. And at some point in time, this is about, I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, I bug the crap out of Donald Trump. I would argue it is because I believe in public service. I've not enriched myself in office. I treat people with dignity. I agree to compromise with people, and the attacks on Minnesota are far beyond me, and it's hurting Minnesota. Here's what I have full confidence in is Republicans are going to lose races up and down the ticket, because where is their plan on health care as health care prices doubled? Where is their plan to push back on the president? Again, for God's sakes, the children of a murdered speaker, and they can't speak up and say, Mr. President, this is wrong, stop it. And you write a story that one retired legislator said it and one member. How can you not have every single one of them saying this is wrong? And I'm going to fight this without having to spend any time worrying about the politics of this. I'm going to fight it, making sure that Minnesotans are cared for. I'm going to fight it by doing the respect that we should have for rule of law. So I just think all of you see this. It is just going to be relentless. Why 2,000 folks? What are they coming? Do they want to coordinate with us? You saw a U.S. attorney stand up, which would have been let go by any other administration, speculating about things with no factual information. That's defamation. That's coming from the U.S. attorney. We are under assault like no other time in our state's history because of a petty, vile administration that doesn't care about the well-being of Minnesotans. My job is to protect the well-being of Minnesotans. So the good news on this is Republicans are sure they're going to lose the governor's race dramatically. That's fine by me. I don't care who sits in this seat as long as it's not one of them who hurt Minnesotans. I care that it's somebody who understands and respects this office. Janet.
You just talked about the danger. Your daughter gave an interview talking a little bit about the danger. Was there any part of the governor that thought when you were making this decision, did it cross your mind that not by any nature of what you've done, but just because of you being you and being the target, that people's lives were in danger,
Yes.
whether they be so you felt that
Yes.
for Sophie Call and other that
Yes.
nature is a decision.
Yes, and for our Somali community, yes. Look, I'm on the list because whatever it is, they hate us. I may be on the list because of last fall. I may be on the list for whatever reason. But yes, that's exactly what it is. And look, I don't know how you spin the story other than him pushing that conspiracy theory. You don't have to listen to me. The Hortman children told you that. We shouldn't have to be talking about them. Respect their privacy. We just attended a wedding, which was a joyous day, with 2 empty seats from someone who was murdered. But, there's rumors out there and all this. That is frickin' evil. And every one of you in this room knows it's evil. And that type of hate and those types of threats that are actionable, yes. And look, I'm concerned for my family, but I've got a little bit of protection now. My family, not so much. But what about Somali immigrants who are minding their own business? We've got 2,000 folks. We don't even know who they are. They'll be wearing masks, being here in Minnesota, harassing them. If you want us to fix fraud, come and help us. Come and help us do that. They're not interested in that.
Governor, have you given any thought to what's next for you after you leave office?
No.
You're only going to be 62.
No, I know. I'm going to run some more marathons. I'm going to defend my turkey trot title. I don't know if I told you all that I won my age group in the turkey trot. Look, I got a year of work to do here. I think it will be the most challenging year, and that includes probably COVID, because I caution Minnesotans, this is going to worse before it gets better. Everybody here knows, you will be nonpartisan and you will be fair in this, but the vast majority of the country knows this because Donald Trump's in trouble. The Epstein files need to come out. The economy's sinking. We're fighting a war in Venezuela. I will tell you one thing on this, that today, people in Minnesota, the work that we did and the bill that I signed makes their life a lot better. And I would ask those folks who think Donald Trump's doing the right thing, do you think not getting paid family leave and fighting a war in Venezuela has improved your life? Because if it is, I don't know what I can say to you to help you vote for something, but that's where it's going to go. For me, I'm going to do this work. To be candid with you, what I'm really good at is I'm a really good geography teacher. And I think that's something where I would find the joy in getting back in there, trying to teach, do the things that we want to do.
Last one here.
Has the Optum fraud report come back to your office yet?
Not analyzed yet. The one I got today, and I'll tell you just as a heads up on this, we got the Axtell report back on Capitol security, and that's my next step on this. And I do want to kind of preview a little bit here. If Republicans think that I'm not coming to make us more safe around guns, they are sadly mistaken. They are going to take votes on protecting our children, or they're not going to get anything else done. When that report comes back, that will give us, I think, some idea where we're going. I'm excited to see and hopeful what Tim O'Malley's going to see. I think you're seeing this. I feel pretty confident right now that the plan on how to get there is getting pretty well laid out. I think the gap analysis of where there were gaps is pretty well there. I think we're going to have to figure out how we implement some of the safeguards in place, probably have to come back to the legislature. It'll be interesting to see, and I really do appreciate that question about the fraud committee. If I'm not mistaken, this planned meeting on fraud in this program before it implemented was the very first meeting ahead of trying to prevent. I need the legislator to help me on prevention. It's pretty easy after the fact to say this happened. They're really good at that. They're not so good on the front end, so I think that would be good. But I just want to say again to all of you, incredibly grateful. I'm going to make note of this. I had my team verify this. I've stood in front of the press more than any governor in Minnesota history and taken more questions from the press in Minnesota history. My team has provided more data under the Data Practices Act than any governor in history. And I'm going to preview for you now and I would ask all of you for the help on this. It seems absolutely outrageous and a gap to me. The only people who aren't subject in state government to data practices are the legislature. And we've had a pedophile in the state Senate that we got no information about. We have credible accusations of one Republican representative against another Republican representative that they committed fraud. We have a requirement that the House run an audit, which they did not do. You are the gatekeepers on this. Demand that there's data practices, and if they have emails showing that I have committed fraud, you should get those. Why aren't they putting them out there? Why aren't they turning them over to prosecutors? And right now, they are hiding behind a veil of innuendo. They're protecting the biggest fraudster in the White House. They are unwilling to acknowledge that January 6th was an insurrection. They are unwilling to stand with Melissa Hortman's children. And I want to tell you this, for those legislators who went and shed crocodile tears at her funeral, shame on you. Shame on you. Her children are asking you to do one thing in her name. It's to tell the president to stop doing this. That shouldn't be that difficult. So look, for Republicans here, I have more energy than I've ever had. I am committed to this state more than I've ever been. I love this state with every fiber of my being. I believe we are the best state. Have I been perfect in this? God dang no. I wasn't perfect as a teacher. I wasn't perfect as a coach. I wasn't perfect as a soldier, but I was pretty damn good at all those things. And I am committed to getting this right. And I will tell you what, if they think now, I mean, game's over for them now. It was all me, I was the bad guy or whatever. Well, put up or shut up now and tell us what you're going to do to make this state better. Answer these tough questions, quit hiding behind this, and expect for the next 11 months for me to ride you like you've never been ridden, to make sure that you're doing your job. I'm asking for your help. We need data practices with the legislature right now. You need to expect to get every one of my emails just like you have when you ask for them. Every one of my commissioners, you should be able to ask for those, which you can do, and we need to do that. Here's the thing that I'm going to ask all of you is, Republicans want to tear this state down. Republicans want to tell you it's too dangerous to walk down the streets. Republicans want to tell you there's nothing good comes out of Minneapolis-St. Paul. Republicans want to tell you everybody with brown skin is stealing money or that they're not welcome here. They want to do nothing to improve this state. Their idea of improving this state is being a parrot for Donald Trump, agreeing to everything that he agreed with. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. It ain't happening. I'm not going anywhere. And you can make all your requests for me to resign over my dead body. Will that happen? I will fight this thing till the very end to make this state better. And the question that I think they need to decide is when did the guy in the White House resign? When does he take accountability for what he did? Because it isn't going to happen here in terms of us shying away from making the state better. So you'll get to see me more. The good news is on this is that I got no election to look forward to. I've been in front of you. I'll call on who I want to call on, and I'll watch what the press gets written, and we'll make sure that in this state there's full accountability for everybody. Because buck stops with me. I'm accountable for this. And because of that accountability, I'm not running for office again. But I have a year to continue to improve on a record that I think will stand up against anybody's, a record that has made Minnesota better, a record that makes people want to come here, and a record that has respected not only the dignity of people, but the idea of rule of law and camaraderie. So the one thing that I hate is anytime I get drug into being next to Donald Trump, God help me, I don't want to be judged against that guy. Judge me against an average Minnesotan going out to do their job every day and being decent to their neighbors. So thank you all, and we'll be back.
You just heard from an ardent and fervent Governor Tim Walz, who answered questions from the media earlier today on his decision to end his reelection bid, among many other topics. A press conference that felt like a wrestling promo at different times. Governor Walz, it feels like he's got some weights coming off the shoulders, and he let loose a little bit there, Grace.
He did. If there's one thing about Governor Walz, is he's quotable sometimes.
Lots of quotes coming out of there. Put up or shut up. Quit hiding behind this and expect for the next 11 months for me to ride you like you've never been ridden, among many other quotable sentences there from Governor Walz as he answered questions from the media. If you came in halfway through or even partway through, third of the way through, however, if you didn't see the whole thing, you can head to fox9.com or the Fox 9 YouTube. I'm sure we got you covered there. But don't scurry away just yet. We got more afternoon shift coming up in just a sec. We're hanging out until 5. So let's close out the show together. Let's end this thing together right after this commercial break. We'll be right back here on the afternoon shift. Welcome back to the afternoon shift. We've had a lot of capital and newsy kind of stuff today. We started off the show hearing from local community leaders on ICE's presence at Hennepin County Medical Center. We had a press conference near the top of the hour on the anniversary of the January 6th Capitol insurrection. It is the 5th year anniversary. We heard from Chuck Schumer, among others. That's some heavy stuff. Very important stuff, but some real heavy stuff. So to close out the show, we figured let's keep it a little bit light, get back to the normal kind of tone and conversational flow of the show. We got about 15 minutes left. We got plenty on our plate, so bon appetit. Let's dig in. Grace, you were just telling me, speaking of bon appetit, during the commercial break, we didn't even plan to talk about this, but we just read about this. There's some new scents coming to Bath and Body Works, one of my daughter's favorite stores. Like I know that place, like I know my apartment at this point, but I'm hoping to not encounter some of these new scents that I'm hearing about. What's going on with the new scented candles at Bath and Body Works, Grace?
Okay, I thought this was rage bait for a bit until I came across like USA Today's article about this. But for those of you who don't know or haven't seen it across our algorithm and thought it was rage bait, it is true. There will be a pizza and ranch scented candle. I believe it's actually out already at Bath and Body Works. Along with the pizza and ranch scented one, there will be a chips and salsa, a popcorn and slushy scented one, and then I did see a coffee and donut. Coffee and donut I can get behind. That's
Okay,
fine.
that's not bad.
But pizza and ranch?
Pizza and ranch?
I think pepperoni pizza to be specific. So
that is so foul. Like, who is asking for? I need to know who is in. Why are we wasting scientists' time? Scientists are in these labs trying to create all these different kind of scents for the modern day consumer because we want all these niche scents. Who said, you know what the people need? Pizza. And ranch scented candles.
I mean, I'm sure it will sell though.
There's gotta be.
I'm sure it will sell.
First, there's got to be people that are going to do it. For sure, some college bros, some frat bros, maybe some dudes out there looking to give their girlfriend a joke gift. But hey, brother, sit this one out. This is not a joke gift, the kind of thing. Because you imagine walking into somebody's crib and it smells like pizza and ranch. Like, oh, you just made some pizza rolls. You got a nice old Jack's pizza. No, I lit my candle.
Well, and I can't imagine it smells real. Like,
right.
It's not gonna. You
Fake
get a
pizza.
coffee flavored candle. It's not. You're not gonna smell like a coffee shop. I mean, generally. And I mean, these candles are $24.95. You're gonna waste $24.95 on a pizza and ranch scented candle. I'm out. I'm out
on it. I don't get it.
That's just consumerism. We don't need it. We don't need it because none of those candles are going to get used. They're all going to end up in the landfills. So I'm out on this. I'm a little angry about it. I've been sitting here stewing, thinking about it. You know, I have been like your daughter. I'm a Bath and Body Works consumer.
Yeah.
I go and I buy my winter candle every year, my pine tree candle. It's a tradition. But I don't know. I'm kind of mad. I feel like maybe I'll stick to going to like Marshalls and TJ Maxx and buying candles from there.
Yeah, protesting Bath and Body Works for these egregious scents. Hopefully, I don't see any of these. Normally I give my daughter everything on her birthday list. Try to get her as much as possible on the birthday Christmas list. Yeah. She's asking for pizza and ranch scented candles. That's a hard no from Pops. Ain't no way. That's just I don't understand it. Also, Grace, real quick, to settle this debate. As a Bath and Body Works girly, is Japanese cherry blossom for quote unquote old people?
Is that what your daughter?
My daughter, I told her she's like because her favorite scent's gingham. She loves gingham.
Gingham. I bought my sister some gingham.
It's a great scent.
Your daughter has good taste.
The kid's got a good nose, but she told me that Japanese cherry blossom is for old people.
You know, she might be right.
No.
She might be right. I didn't even know that was still a thing because I remember growing up and there was a scent called sweet pea. I associated with grandmas. That I associated with grandmas.
I mean, I'm 32 now.
Out there. But no, I think you're even too young. You're too young for the Japanese cherry
Okay,
blossom.
I'll stay away from it. I'll just take her recommendations. But I'm glad that I was informed at least because I don't want to be showing up someplace and somebody's like, "Who's this geriatric guy showing up here? Who's this octogenarian showing up to this date?" And I'm smelling like Japanese cherry blossom. So I'm glad to at least be informed. I want to be on the right side of history here.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you okay? I have a question.
Yeah.
This is a personal question.
Of course.
So, are you do you wear cologne or do you not wear cologne?
See, it depends because sometimes it's so powerful. Like it is very, very powerful. And I still don't really understand I do it just because I've seen it be done that way. I don't really understand that you put it on the wrist and then you're supposed to. I just do it because I see people doing it. You're supposed to get it because I don't have one of the spritz ones. I got one of the whoop.
Yep.
But it is so powerful that it feels like even if you splash on one too many splashes, that's it. Like you're done. It can go both ways. It can be like wow, this guy smells good, but it could also be like oof, this guy's got a lot of cologne on. For the longest time, I wasn't planning on admitting this on TV today. I was using the Old Spice Fiji. The Fiji. It smells good. It's not like the Axe body spray. That's like, if you're still using the Axe body spray in 2026 and you above the age of 16, you need to rethink. Maybe even go get a pizza in Ranch City, Canada. That might be better than Axe body spray. But the Fiji, the Old Spice, it's not bad. So I'm in between on cologne, like if it's gifted to me, but like, you know, some people are like, I got Chanel and I mix it with some people, because that's kind of the cool thing these days now is to have a mix, right? And your own personal mix that you don't give out to other people, right?
And it's a hobby and it's fun, and I totally get that, but I'm grateful that you don't wear a lot of cologne, because I sit next to you, and it gives me a headache. So keep on keeping on what you're doing.
I appreciate it. As long as I don't smell bad, I'll start adopting the cologne if I start smelling bad. As long as I don't smell bad, I'm all with it, Grace. Are you like do you have a personal combination of scents that you concoct every day?
I do. I do, in fact. I wear like a little perfume oil that I get from Whole Foods, actually, which is very interesting. It's
really?
$11, and it's been my scent forever. It's an oil. I do the thing. I put it on my place, and because it doesn't come in a spritz, so that's what I wear. I've worn it for years. It's $11. It's better smelling than any perfume I've ever smelled, in my opinion. So.
That is amazing. Sometimes it's just the DIY kind of do-it-yourself. Like I used the Fiji. I used Febreze for a long time. Nobody ever told me I smelled bad. I would just get the spray Febreze.
No, you wouldn't.
I swear, when I was a teenager, you get the big one, you do psh, 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 and then you just kind of do one of these into it, you know, like where it's like psh, 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 and it's like you do the Leo on the Titanic, and you're like, I'm the king of the world. And listen, I didn't have a problem getting ladies. That's all I'll say. I didn't have a problem.
If it works, it works.
If it works, right? You maybe some people don't got the swag to pull off the Febreze scent.
Yeah.
But I think I pulled it off.
Yeah.
I think I pulled it off. But I've advanced. I've moved on. Grace, real quick, I want to talk to you. Speaking of advancing, we're living in the future right now. Have you heard of this CES 2026 conference? I was unaware completely of this whole phenomenon until this morning.
Right. I actually have heard of it because of a guest we've had on the show before. So there is a guest, we had Niron Magnetics. I don't know if you were there for that day, but they have a plant that they're building in Sartell, and they're making these really cool magnets, and I got a press release that they're going to be at this convention, but I didn't know what it was until you told me about what this CES convention is. So can you kind of explain it?
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. It's the Consumer Electronics Show. It bills itself as the world's largest annual tech trade show. It's all about consumer technology, not just the technology that we're going to see in laboratories somewhere that people can't get their hands on. It's all the latest stuff. I got a list of this stuff, Grace. Just listen to how, like, sometimes I feel like you hear the 2026, right? That sounds so in the future. And then you kind of look around and you go, am I in the future right now? It doesn't feel like the future right now. It doesn't feel very futuristic. But let me just go down this list of things. This is the future. We're living in it right now. Self-driving wheelchairs. How freaking cool is that?
Whoa.
I mean, we all think about self-driving cars. I think even Uber debuted maybe their rival for Waymo, possibly. They're trying to roll out their own version of self-driving cars that they had there. But a self-driving wheelchair, it maps out like the whole area that you live in. And you could say, hey, take me to the couch, and it'll bring you to the couch.
Oh, so it's voice activated.
It's like voice activated for all kinds of, mobility and accessibility. So
that's incredible.
It's so smart Lego bricks.
Yeah.
They have smart Lego bricks now, where if you use them to build something, like say you're building like a dolphin, a Lego dolphin, you can make it so it makes dolphin noises, and it'll remember the different things that it was a part of, like the different builds that it was a part of. Like, how cool is that?
Amazing.
That is just bringing kids' imaginations straight into real life.
Technology used right.
Exactly.
Like
that's the type of technology that you can get excited about. Not ChatGPT to think for you, but a Lego brick to enhance a child or an adult, because Legos is for everybody these days, man. Any type of imagination. Check this out. Virtual reality NBA games. You've heard of these Google glasses, the Apple glasses and all that?
Yes.
They're trying to debut this technology where you put it on. They showed some camera angles of it. I wish we could. They have like underneath the basket. They have at the scorer's table. And you might as well be on the real court. Like you buy a ticket, I think. Well, I don't even know if you have to buy it, but you get this ticket and you're at a live NBA game. And it has its own broadcast for within the glasses. They have their own commentators, and you're literally watching the game happen in real time, like you're on the court.
Crazy. I wonder one day if there's gonna be technology where you can like step into a movie and experience a movie that way.
I wonder. I think that's what they're trying to do, because it said storytelling and like sports. So I wonder if they're trying to bring it to like broader, fictional stuff. I got among other things, they have music playing, lollipops. You take a bite of a lollipop and it will play an Ice Spice song in your bones. In your bones.
That can't be healthy.
That can't be healthy. That cannot be. Well, for a variety of reasons. I don't want Ice Spice in my DNA, you know? I'm a fan, but I don't know if I want Ice Spice playing in my DNA. They got laundry folding robots, a longevity mirror that can predict your health trajectory in 30 seconds. That sounds
my business.
terrifying, right? I don't even want to know. Exoskeletons, smart rings that transcribe meetings for you. I mean, Grace, we're seriously living in the future.
That's incredible. I want to go.
I know. I want to see this stuff.
Let's do it.
I want to see this stuff. Well, I mean, it's going till January 9th, so I'm excited and terrified to see what else is unveiled. That's the future, but this is the now, Grace. We're getting ready to wrap up here. The 5 o'clock news is getting ready to start in just about a minute. What do we got coming up on the show tomorrow?
We don't have a ton booked, but we are going to have, this is the biggest segment. I mean,
what is
I know I'm excited about it, but we are going to have the one, the only Leon Purvis.
Oh, yes.
In the studio. And do you know what he's going to talk to us about?
What is that?
His workout routine.
Oh, my gosh. If you haven't followed Leon on Instagram, he's a workout guru. He's got the body of a god. He's an absolute Adonis. He looks like a Greek statue. We're going to talk to him about fitness tips, because everybody's trying to get fit at the beginning of the year. We're going to be talking to Leon. We might have Lauren Andrego back in the mix. All types of stuff going on the afternoon shift. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Thanks for rocking with us on an extended, extra newsy edition. The 5 o'clock news starts right now.
This is Fox 9 News at 5.
And hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at 5 o'clock. I'm Kelsey Carlson.
And I'm Simone Woolridge. We are following a lot of developing stories today. So ICE in the Twin Cities. The Trump administration saying the, quote, largest ever ICE operation is happening right now in Minnesota. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem here present for at least one arrest. And Governor Tim Walz gives more insight on his decision to end his re-election campaign for a third term as governor. Also, we are getting a look at the Minneapolis Police Department's crime review for 2025. And it shows a drop in violent crime in North Minneapolis, so we'll show you those numbers. Plus, the Timberwolves, they are back in town after a road trip, hoping to bring, the heat to the heat. So a lot to talk about here at 5.
We've brought a little bit of heat. I mean,
tiny bit, yeah.
A little bit, a little January heat.
Yeah, a little bit of how about the rain overnight? And the biggest question I've had all day today, including from my wife, if this rain was snow, how much snow would it be? But if we were just cold enough, how much freezing rain would we have had? All good questions. Records amount of rain across the metro, between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch of rain at this point in January. But I wanted to talk about how these things set up. When it's all rain, you've got warmer air, obviously warmer than freezing. When you go into a snow transition here, we're starting to move our numbers down toward 31 degrees. And then sleet and snow, it is in the upper 20s. So here, it's a very thin line. 33 degrees, rain and wet snow. We were there for a good portion of the evening and through the overnight. 31 degrees, wet snow and freezing rain. Parts of the metro, including the Northwest Metro, all the way up to St. Cloud, we're at that. Wet snow, freezing rain, and nasty roads. 29 degrees, freezing rain and ice accumulation. None of us got there, thankfully. So instead, you look outside, this gray, murky sky. Well, I hope you like it, because it is all about gray, murky, and fog redeveloping again tonight. But it is going to be warm for the rest of the week. I will tell you that much. We'll talk here in about 10 minutes.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Ian. The federal government's eye remains on Minnesota. The acting director of ICE calling the ICE operation happening in the Twin Cities right now the largest in U.S. history. Secretary Kristi Noem also in the cities today. The Department of Homeland Security saying the goal is to address fraud and arrest criminals. Our Karen Scullen has been out today trying to track them down and joins us from Minneapolis. So Karen, with so many agents in the cities, were they easy to spot?
That's a very good question. So we're talking about 2,000 agents that are reportedly here in the Twin Cities, and they were actually easy to spot in their cars. There's a lot of cars around town, and these are unmarked cars with out-of-state plates, but you can kind of spot them pretty easily in and around the Twin Cities. The windows are usually blacked out, but you can see their uniforms and identify them pretty easily. We also were at the Federal Whipple building several times today, and you could see dozens and dozens of agents kind of coming and going from the building, probably getting their assignments and heading back out, that kind of thing. So easy to spot, kind of hard to catch up to, though.
Yeah, so did you witness any arrests or detentions today?
Well, as I said, those cars were unmarked, so we did not see any arrests. As easy as they were to spot around town, I think they can see us probably pretty easily too. However, DHS was posting a lot of video today online. They posted a video of Secretary Kristi Noem actually along with some of the agents as they were making arrests. She was with them when they made an arrest of a man they said was from Ecuador. He was here illegally, they said, and he was arrested in St. Paul, convicted of robbery, but also wanted, they said, for murder and sexual assault in his home country of Ecuador. She had a few words with him, said, did he know why he was being arrested? There was a translator, and then she said, we're taking you in for the crimes that you've committed. So she was along for that, but they were all over the Twin Cities, from Bloomington to St. Paul to Minneapolis, kind of all over making arrests. Even I saw some video online of somebody who was pulled over alongside the road, and they were being arrested by ICE agents, a lot of them wearing their marked gear that say police or ICE or along those lines there.
And so, Karen, this Operation Metro Surge, do you have any idea how long it would last?
No, it has not been said how long they would last, how long the surge would be here. However, they said they weren't going to leave until the problem was fixed. So I would guess that's probably, for several days still. I don't know if it's going to be weeks at this point, but it seems like they're out to make a lot of arrests. I saw something in the thousands, so what remains to be seen. But of course, we'll be following along and seeing what's happening from day to day here. Kelsey?
All right. Thanks, Karen Scullen in Minneapolis tonight.
Well, after yesterday, Governor Tim Walz had some explaining to do today. He took questions for the first time since leaving the race for a third term as governor. Our Corin Hoggard was asking some of those questions today, and he now joins us live from the Capitol. So, Corin, what did he tell you about some of his reasons behind his decision?
Well, Simone, he says that the reasons for his reversal were strictly personal. He says there were no friends or foes who were pushing him out. He did, though, cite the safety of his family and of other folks here in Minnesota as one of his reasons. And, he admitted that fraud and the focus on it that's been so sharp over the last few months did play a role in his decision. In fact, he seemed like he was trying to take all of the fraud arrows for his party, making sure no other DFLers get damaged by the fraud. And he said, during his lame duck term here for the next 12 months or so, that he's going to be focused on making sure all the vulnerabilities in the social services programs are gone, closed.
And Corin, today we heard him talk about this administration. We heard him talk about President Trump. He has kind of engaged in this war of words with the president for most of the last 20 months or so. And then, of course, comes that influencer video that everyone had been talking about that came up just a couple of weeks before this decision was made. Did he talk about how much that possibly weighed in on his decision, or maybe it didn't?
Well, he did say that, the attention from, videos and especially from the president probably made it so that he was less likely to be effective as governor. And he said he didn't want to hurt the state. And so that was a factor in his decision. But, he also has kept attacking President Trump. He's kept attacking the Republicans who are running for governor, and he seems like, that may be his role now. I did talk to some Republicans who said, yeah, great. Let Tim Walz stay here. It'll make sure that folks still are focused on fraud and connecting it to the DFL. But that does seem to be what he wants to do. He wants to be kind of an attack dog for the DFL on fraud and on, everything else, really.
I have more energy than I've ever had. I am committed to this state more than I've ever been. I love this state with every fiber of my being. I believe we are the best state. Have I been perfect in this? God dang no. I wasn't perfect as a teacher. I wasn't perfect as a coach. I wasn't perfect as a soldier, but I was pretty damn good at all those things. And I am committed to getting this right.
Yeah, we kind of saw him, Corin, pretty fired up at the end of that when a lot of people were asking some of the questions. We know he still has another year to do this job. Did he give any indication as to what he plans to do after he leaves the governor's office?
Yeah, yes and no. He didn't directly say what he had planned, if he even has plans at this point. But, if he's going to take it, if he's going to be the fall guy for fraud, then a political career, probably second political career, not really in his future. What he did mention, though, that was kind of interesting was his love for the job that he had previously. He was a geography teacher, and he said that gave him joy, and maybe that's something that he would return to. So it's possible that in 2027, some school district in Minnesota has probably the highest profile teacher there's ever been.
Yeah, and then as you reported yesterday, his daughter also saying they'll spend more family time together, and I think they have some trips planned as well. Corin Hoggard reporting live tonight from the Capitol. Thank you, Corin.
Well, funding to autism centers getting back into the hands of providers after the recent freeze. Claims are going through prepayment review and will soon be back on their 2-week cycles. The first payments will be sent out January 27th.
Well, the Minneapolis Police Department holding its year-in review meeting, highlighting crime trends and statistics from 2025. Chief Brian O'Hara led this presentation, saying Minneapolis is moving in the right direction, becoming safer every day, even with a lack of officers. So let's take a look at some of the numbers as to how crime has changed in this city.
There's very remarkable decreases in serious street crime.
A lot of this data MPD shared is compared to 2021. This is when police say the city was the only major city that ended the year with more shooting victims in 1 year than sworn members of a police department. But 2025 shows a turnaround. There were 347 fewer shootings compared to 2021, also down 18% compared to the year before. North Minneapolis, which had the majority of shootings over time, has now seen the lowest number of shooting victims ever since the city has been tracking this data. Robberies and carjackings are also down 50 to 70% compared to years past. But not everything is great. Last summer, we reported on smash and grab trends, parked cars with their windows smashed as drivers looked for answers. Damage to vehicles are up 7%. While Chief O'Hara says auto theft is down compared to more recent years but remains a challenge. And so does domestic violence. Aggravated assaults are up 8%. So the entire department has been retrained in new domestic violence procedures and are now working with more agencies to help with arrests. Response times after crimes has been a concern for many people in the community, as they have had to wait about 10 minutes for police. The chief says they developed a new response plan, and that number has decreased to about 7 minutes of wait time. Now, we know staff has been on the decline over the last few years, but looking at 2025 alone, MPD lost 49 officers, but gained 174.
Almost the entire time I had been the police chief here, and I would get the report every week, month after month after month, we kept getting smaller. And even in 2024, when it finally stabilized a little, the numbers just did not add up.
All right, time now to take a check of your forecast. Maybe you were woken up by some of the rain in the middle of the night. You kind of heard the pitter-patter on the
Yeah, a lot of kids
house.
wondering if they might get a late start out of this because it was a little slick out there this morning.
It was, but there were only pockets of freezing rain. More often across the region, it was rain, heavy rain between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch, and that rain limited the freezing ability. I mean, it quite simply washes away whatever is trying to freeze. Tonight, the fog returns once again, and there is an outside chance of freezing fog. We talked a lot about that last night. It's a little fine mist and water droplets that make up the fog, attaching themselves to elevated surfaces. So your porch, your railings, your car, bridge decks, all could be a problem again tomorrow morning. As I said yesterday, it is a very gray but very warm week ahead with temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. Looking ahead to the weekend, we're still a little unsettled, but the word snow is slowly getting pushed out of the overall forecast, specifically for the metro and areas off to the north. So it is going to be a challenge to find any sunshine this week, but the melt continues. It is going to be one of those tiptoe through the puddles sorts of things, and don't wear those. Don't wear your fancy shoes, Kelsey. She's known as the fancy shoe lady around here. So.
Oh yeah,
or pants. You know.
Oh yeah, I try not to wear pants most days. What are you saying?
What's the alternative?
Yeah, what are you wearing these days?
I was just talking to our executive producer Lori Fisher, and she said, "Look at the picture of the skirt." I said, "Oh, I have that."
Yeah.
I hate
skirts. You know, well, you don't get them wet in the puddles.
The skirts?
Yes. Yeah. Because your pants you have to hold up when you're walking through the puddles.
Yeah.
There we go. They're just like that. If we could see your ankles
well,
right
we can't
now.
see your ankles.
Oh
man.
Thanks, Ian. More calls for accountability over fraud cases in Minnesota. Today, the lieutenant governor has been called out.
And with Maduro out in Venezuela, U.S. lawmakers want to know what is next. The latest on this developing situation coming up next. But first, let's take a look at your drive times tonight.
Doing nothing.